how to trade at the opening, and do you avoid trading at market opens, and if yes, why?
My trading style is not specifically on each day, let's see what comes and let's trade the new direction that the big boys are giving on an FX pair, for example, in the first hour, or the equity market. So being technical is not a key element for me. I have done this before in my trading time with people. I had someone I woke up with at 5 in the morning. We were both sat to catch that first hour, and I tried other people's strategies, and if the first hour is doing this as part of my great pool of research, and I'd certainly encourage others to investigate it and have that experience. Do that. But for me, in terms of what I do, it's not part and parcel of my daily trading experience.
Should be, you'll get there'll be a lot of you on the site. I'm amazed I couldn't find David Morrison. You're on his level, he's good as well. Trading at the opening. Trading the news. Updates, statements, etc.
I wouldn't set out specifically to trade out the news. Inadvertently, I end up often trading out the news through the nature of my technical setup. So what may happen is you getting a tightening and an oscillating in the market is resting until a planned market event is either out in the market. If it's bullish and the trend was bullish into it, usually the market then wants to continue up, but is just saying, why take the risk of something potentially outlier event occurring? We'll wait to go up after this event. So often by that I'm implying that the market already knows it wants to do something, but is just accepting that it's better to do it post an event. Or it might be very contingent on the data of that event, which is what most people like to believe. Although I often believe that the crowd has made up its mind and the pattern is indicating a lot more what it intends to do than the news being imparted. But that said, you often get that. So I will refer back to my discussion about technical and fundamental being the same sides of coins. My technical setup does occur on technical events and fundamental events, both planned and unplanned. So by nature of trading the HVF theory, I have bought into companies that then were immediately targeted in mergers and acquisitions. So that tells me that there was a setup that somebody knew something on it. This is a great story, by the way. This was Merseyside Docks and Harbours. I've been in the peculiar incidents where I was tripped into the trade on an announcement of a potential acquisition. The chart then gapped, traded just before my target and ran my target. I got taken out with a very high risk reward target. The merger and acquisition then didn't go through and they failed to agree and collapsed all the way back down. So I actually made mud profits on a merger and acquisition that didn't occur. So there's quite an irony in that. So that was all fundamental, but the technicalities were there to support me in my setup. So I actually got bounced into a merger and acquisition situation that ended up failing and then fell right the way down. So really, really ironic. The other one was with Fresnillo, with Carlos Slim acquiring their shares. I had 3 successive setups in a row, buying profit, buying to target, and then the irony of this, and this is whenever people say, why do you have a target? You should just be staying in with the trend and getting more money, at higher up. This was a classic case. On the last setup, over the weekend I was long. Monday morning it opened. Now I was working really late and I was getting up late, so I was getting up 9:30 and I was only really switching the computer on at 10. I suddenly saw my trading account I had even more money than I'd calculated because I was part the way on a break on Fresnillo, and I'd calculated what the profit should be, and there was, amazingly enough, more thousands than should be in there. And I thought, what happened? And I switched the machine on quick to check the chart of this equity. And what had actually happened is that it melted up over my target, but the news had come out that a billionaire, Carlos Slim, was actually acquiring shares in Fresnillo. So it actually gapped right over my target. Now, target is a limit order. So essentially I say, get me out at this level or better. Usually you got out at the level. Because of this news, everybody, my broker, this was really ironic situation, because the broker would have thought, this idiot, he hasn't heard the news, he's going to get bought out. And I did get bought out, but I got bought out way above my target. So I got gapped up. So I got an extra 30% on the distance that I expected. And then from that point, down, 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 down. And the guy was furious. He'd been rumbled. He sold all the shares he'd been acquiring, down, down, down. And I actually ended up selling the high of Fresnillo, which I think is about £7 today, at £17.50. Virtually to the T. I wasn't, let's be clear, I wasn't trying to sell the high, but by virtue of having an order in the system, in an upward trending event, trading a breakout, you improve your chances of being like that. And in fact, I never get negative slippage. And in actual fact, I have a new concept that occurs, and it's called positive slippage. In other words, get given more money than you should. Instead of rushing for the cinema exit with everyone else and not getting a fill at my level when everyone else is getting out, trying to get out, I was selling when no one else was selling and everyone wanted to buy because they heard he was wanting to buy. So I got gapped up and given all this free money because I was the one guy going the opposite direction to the herd. And that's the difficulty about being the 9% when there's 91% herd around you. And the only way you can actively do that and be comfortable about it is be asleep and have the order already in the machine, which is exactly what I had. And that's what got me my gift. And that's not once that it's happened. And HVF traders with me, we've had a similar experience shorting Apple on a news result. We had a very bearish setup. I had calculated on a 1:7. I got a 1:17, a more than doubling of the outcome. Straight gap. Bang. No trade, and I got given more, well more than my geometric target. That's slippage and a half. Boy, is it positive. You have a calculated profit and you end up getting double that. And that's the value of having an order in the system. No one else wanted to be a buyer. I was short, I had to be a buyer. So there was everyone else trying to sell in this terrible news, and I'm the sole buyer. Great. Bang, get filled right down there.